All right, welcome. I am James Oliver Jr., CEO of the Parentpreneur Foundation, where we empower Black parentpreneurs so you can leave a legacy for your beautiful Black children, the rugrats, as I call them, right? So listen, we stay bringing the smoke, and we are always bringing incredible people to you guys to help you level up, help you get to the bag, help you get your mind right, get your kids right, get your business right, all of that. So I'm super duper excited that tonight we have Nicola Corzine, the executive director from the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center, and Laurel Wilkie. Is that how you say your last name? Laurel, who's the director of meeting and events for Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. And we want to talk a little bit about NEC, the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center, what it is, why it is. We want to talk about the Mentor Makers program and why that's so important, how we think that's going to be really helpful for all you guys. So as I turn this over to Nicola and Laurel, just in the chat, you can just drop in the chat where you're coming in from so we know. And if you have any questions, we'll have a few minutes for questions because this is going to be a quick one. It's just 30 minutes, but we'll try to get to some of your questions. Just drop them in the Q&A. If you're dropping in the chat, make it to panelists and attendees so everybody can see it, unless you just want us to see it. So, Nicola, Laurel, what's up?
It's so good to be here. My goodness. And hello, all you amazing parent entrepreneurs. I have two little guys at home, so I'm actually hitting the coffee still because I'm going to have to go run a marathon when I get done with this awesome half-hour event here because they're going to keep me on my toes for the next many hours.
Bless you. How old are your kids?
3 and 2. So
you were in the weeds.
Never a dull moment by any means.
God bless you. It doesn't get easier; it just gets different. So
I'm all for that. That's
sorry
cool.
to tell you that.
I love what they do. They keep me. They always say to be a great entrepreneur, you got to think like a toddler, and I'm a big believer in that. Like, never stop questioning, never stop asking why. And my 3-year-old is living proof right now of helping me remember how always to be questioning everything, which is kind of fun.
Absolutely. So so let's jump right into it. Laurel, I know if you had some slides you wanted to show. I had a couple questions for you guys. Like, what do you want to do first, Laurel?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nicola, if you want to do a quick introduction and tell everybody a little bit about your background, and then I can tell everybody a little bit about mine, and we can jump into Mentor Makers from there.
That sounds awesome. So again, really great to be here. I am the founding executive director of the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. As James said, we're an independent nonprofit completely committed to helping entrepreneurs who are doing so much for our communities and our world have access and equity in the field. And we've been doing that now for 6 years. Our community is over 35,000 and growing, 50% women and 70% minority entrepreneurs. And we're inspired by each and every one of them and all the great things that they're bringing forward. I'm the daughter of an entrepreneur, a 3-time entrepreneur myself. And then I moved over to the dark side really quickly and did a short stint in investment banking. It was not my cup of tea. I'm a Brit, so I talk about tea all the time. And then I moved over into venture, where I kind of found my second love in life of like working beside amazingly talented entrepreneurs and supporting them achieving their big visions in the world. So for 10 years, I co-led Band of Angels, did 2 venture funds there, was part of Startup America under the Obama administration to really see how much talent lived beyond the fields of Silicon Valley. Crazy as that may seem, not everyone has to come here. This is not us. It's not all about the green fields here. And so as meeting amazing entrepreneurs all over the world, I realized how much more we could do to connect them and help them. And not because it was like the right thing to do, but because it was the right thing for us to be able to tap into that talent. And so one of my companies ended up getting acquired by Nasdaq, and I got a call one day and was like, hey, you're not going to believe what they're working on. We think you need to meet them. And one thing led to another. And I said, I think maybe I've got one more startup in me, a startup of startups. And that's been where I've been leading for the last 6 years.
And you're all killing it.
Thank you, bud.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
But mainly I get to work with this amazingly inspiring and talented team like Laurel here. So Laurel, I'll kick it back to you and let you share a little about your amazing journey too.
Laurel is great.
Absolutely. So I've been with the center for a little bit over a year now. I help with all the production and the events and programming, but also with the Mentor Makers program that we launched in October of last year. And our goal this year is to help acquire 1 million hours in support of small businesses and entrepreneurs like yourselves with free mentorship from business leaders across every industry across the globe and across every different background. And we are here today to help you get signed up, help you use this amazing platform, and answer any questions you have about how to find a mentor, how to match with them, and really be able to use this time to speak with you and engage on some of the mentoring relationships that you might have had already. So
Why
I'd
did you
like
guys
to,
start the Mentor Makers program? Can we just talk about the why really quickly?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, and I'm happy to start, Laurel, and then would love you to kind of jump into. I mean, for us, when we had to go virtual in COVID, I mean, we have a facility in San Francisco, and for the longest time, our entrepreneurs were coming into us, and we were able to dedicate like on-site mentorship to businesses as we could, but it didn't scale, and it always felt limiting in that moment. And then COVID hit. And then in that time, we saw businesses pivoting and being more resilient and resourceful than they had ever had to be before. And they were doing it in tighter isolation than they'd ever faced before, right? The idea of dropping into a networking event, no more. And it felt so limiting. And especially in a technology driven world. I mean, here we can tap into every smart mind out there in ways that are incredibly scalable. And we hadn't been applying any of that to our own base of 35,000 plus. And now all these businesses that were raising a hand saying we need help. And we want it from diverse mentors, and we want it from people that have been there and walked this walk before in different challenging times. And we were like, we can do that. Right? We know that people will lean in. We know people will pay it forward. That's everything that the center is built on. No charge, no equity costs, all pay it forward because of how much entrepreneurship means to the backbone of every part of society. So we put out a call and we said, what might it look like if we built, as Laurel beautifully said, 1 million hours in support of all these business owners now? Because they need it more than ever, a personal ambassador network to tap into all of the questions that they have to help them sleep 1 more hour each night for all they're giving to us. And that's what we did.
Man, you got me fired. I'm about to run to the wall, but let's go. Let's go. Love it.
So Laurel has been leading all of these amazing partnerships. And you know what? We've learned a lot along the way. We had an amazing technology partner come in, supply the technology. They're the leaders behind YPO and Entrepreneurs Organization. And they're like, we'll donate the technology. Don't you worry about that. You put out the call, you get mentors, you get mentees, we'll make it happen. And we launched this 3 months ago. We've got literally hundreds on the platform. Thousands of people ready to join for the cause, and all of them in support of entrepreneurs like you and like everyone here today. So it's
thousands of mentors ready to be mentors.
Mentors ready to help mentees, and mentees ready to be connected to mentors.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, Laurel, what say you, girl?
I mean, I would love to start with a video that's a little bit of a testimonial of what a lot of the entrepreneurs might be feeling right now. And I think what resonates with a lot of you as well. So I'd like to take just about 30 seconds to show this to you guys and take a moment. Can you see that screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. So one thing that resonates with me, and this is actually a quote of James Oliver for one of our programs that we did with him, is stay ready so that you don't have to get ready.
Boom! We're done. We're done. No, we're done now.
It's one of my favorites. It stayed with me every day. I use it as much as I can, and it really kind of hits home for me for this video. So I think that's definitely a reason why we created this movement and why we're doing what we are doing today. So I'd also love to start by asking the everybody that's in attendance today, if there's a moment that's resonated in your career or in your life that you've shared with a mentor, I'd be great for you to either raise your hand and share it live or even in the chat. And I'd love to kick that off over to you, James, for you to share maybe one experience that you've had. I know you've had so many great examples in the classes and the programs we've done already, but maybe today you could share one of those with us.
Yeah, I think the most relevant one is with Brad Feld. And, you know, my relationship with Brad developed slowly and really unintentionally over a period of like 7 years. And, you know, during that time, so I met Brad, I was going through the generator accelerator, winter 2013. We were, I think, their second cohort. And Brad and David were kind enough to pop in for a Google Meet at that time, Google Hangout, and just talk to the 5 of us. And it's fascinating because, you know, those guys operate from the give first mentality. So, you know, I'm actually doing my first Clubhouse chat tomorrow with David. I did the podcast, the Give First podcast with David. But those guys didn't have to do that, right? Because technically Generator was a competitor, but really they're not. Like Techstars is a beast and those guys were just getting started. But I just maintained a relationship with Brad by following his blog and occasionally commenting on his posts. And eventually he saw I was commenting, he would engage with me. And then I told him I had a book and he's a voracious reader. He bought a copy of my book and I got an email from him and he said, I got your book, I just read it, so I loved it. And then he featured it on his blog. It's bananas. Right? I'm getting orders from like Japan, Australia, just all over the world because of that. And then, you know, I reached out to him when I was trying to start this foundation. I actually reached out to David too. And they were like, oh, I'm sure I'm game to go back and forth over email. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, who doesn't want to go back and forth with Brad Feld? So people who don't know Brad Feld is co-founder of Techstars, one of the preeminent venture capitalists in the tech space in the world. I mean, early investor in Fitbit, which, you know, IPO for like over $1 billion. And those guys, Brad is the top of the VC food chain. So when Brad emails you, like, yeah, I'm game to do that. You're like, well, hell yeah, let's do it, right? So initially the foundation was just going to be for all parentpreneurs because I wrote my book. And I was like, I'm going to start a foundation one of these days. After I sell my business for $50 million, I'll take $1 million of my own money and use that to seed this foundation. So I'm emailing with those guys. They're like, oh yeah, starting a foundation is so hard and blah, blah, blah. And you know, they weren't wrong. But as a Black person, I'm like, listen, telling me something is hard, that doesn't mean anything to me. That's not a reason to not do it. It didn't land with me at all. I'm like, yo, it's hard being Black. I didn't tell him that, but I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, okay. So then George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, all these things happen, right? And at that time I decided, and I'm looking at the data, the wealth inequality gap, 10x, this, that, and all, and the other. And I was like, you know, this foundation is going to be for Black parentpreneurs because we need the help the most. And then I got an email out the blue from Brad, game for a 30-minute Zoom, just the subject, no body in the text, you know, of the email. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'm down to talk to you for 30 minutes, Brad, but was there something else in the email I'm missing? Because, you know, I was using this janky email client that I've since switched. I think I was using Outlook. It was terrible. But he was like, no, that was it. He said, I just want to know what 2 things you're working on that are addressing racial injustice and inequality I can put my time, money, or attention to. And he says, by the way, so I'm reaching out to my Black friends. Just so you know, I regard you a friend. I was like, whoa, like, I did it. I knew you liked me a little bit because you wrote about me on your blog, but I didn't know you liked me like that. So anyway, long story short, the point there is just over time, you know, the relationship went from just somebody I met to a mentor because he was willing to help me think through this Parentpreneur Foundation thing. And then it quickly went to sponsorship, which really I think is the goal of mentorship, because I like to tell this story where mentors are like, oh, you know, this is great. So first of all, mentorship matters. Let's not get it twisted. It matters a lot because if somebody can help you avoid the pitfalls, you know, help save you time and money, help you navigate the landscape, make some introductions for you, that's huge. But the next level is when they're going to do what Brad did, which is, you know, write a check for $50,000 as a seed grant to get this thing started and making introductions for us to get money from other people. But I think it's incumbent upon so I finished my story. So mentors are like, hey, there's this great event conference coming up. I saw you should sign up for it. It'll be some great speakers. Okay, that's awesome. But the sponsor's like, hey, you know, there's this conference coming up and I nominate you as a paid speaker on the panel because I know the organizers, right? And that's where you got to take these mentorship relationships. But I think it's incumbent upon the mentees to build that trust, to show up, to execute, to do what you said you're going to do, to make the mentors comfortable enough to be like Brad did and say, all right, now that he said he's going to co-create, he's like, throw up what a 12-month operating plan would look like in a Google Doc. Brad Fell's telling me this. Throw up a 12-month operating plan in a Google Doc and I'll co-create it with you. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, for real? Like, okay, I had that thing to him the next day. See, this is the trust building part I'm talking about, right? So he's like, all right, this is great. What would a 6-month plan look like? Man, next day I had that to him. He said, this is great. Assume one of 3 things, one of which is a $50,000 grant to get this foundation off the ground. So mentorship matters, but transition those relationships, building that trust, doing what you said, executing, showing up, being awesome to get to the bag. That's the holy grail to me, man.
I love that. That is amazing. So beautiful and such a great example of exactly what we're trying to create and the relationships that you can create and make on this platform. So thank you for sharing that. And Nicola, did you have something to share? Or?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like James just hit the nail perfectly on the head, right? Like it starts with a responsive need. It's like, hey, I'm struggling with an issue, and you don't have to be linear, right? Like, when is entrepreneurship ever linear? Like you can have many issues that you're working on, and it's okay. You deserve the help from as many people as can help you in this time. So it's one of the reasons why I'm kind of reloving thinking about this is like an ambassador network of support, of responsive tactical supporters for change, for helping you in your business where it's at right now as you come out of what has been an incredibly dark and long winter. So let's make sure that you are tapping into as much expertise, as much guidance as you deserve. And trust me, the mentors are going to get as much out of the conversations and the learnings and the sharings. That's why Brad keeps doing what he does. That's why all of us are sort of here inspired by the causes of what entrepreneurs are working on. It's fuel and food on both sides, trust me. So anyway, build out those responsiveness, see those relationships formed. I promise you, you don't have to be like committed for life at this stage when you get into the platform. We can get you that 30-minute, 60-minute help that you need, get you back into building that business that you're inspired to do for your kids, right?
And that's one of the most amazing parts about this platform is that it is super casual. It can be 30 or 60-minute sessions where you spend with an entrepreneur and you really have a couple, 2 or 3 things that you want to tackle, or 2 or 3 problem areas that you are stuck in. And then you can meet with as many mentors and have as many as you want. And it can be something that's a little bit more casual than a long-term mentor relationship. So it gives you the opportunity to meet with people of all different backgrounds, all different problem areas, and all different industries.
And one of the fun things that's different, so I was just going to add from like a power dynamic play, like I often feel that poor entrepreneurs always are like feeling a little bit like Oliver Twist of like, please, can I have some more every time like they go and meet someone of like, would it be okay? Can I ask you if you might give me half an hour? And it's not like they're doing that without true gratitude and appreciation, but it's also realizing that mentees ought to be able to self-select which mentors they'd like to connect with. So you actually are empowered to do that on this platform. You get to go through and you get to see who you'd like to connect with, and you get to kind of cherry pick them out, and you get to ping. It's not the mentors on this side actually that's sourcing deals or sourcing for entrepreneurs. So trust me when I tell you, it's more of an equitable environment perhaps than you may have experienced in the past. And we really do want to have the power live on both sides of the equation, but especially with our entrepreneurs in need right now.
Amazing. So I know, Laurel, you dropped this in the chat earlier, but can you drop the link again so people can know where to go to sign up for the Mentor Makers program? Can you drop that in
Absolutely.
there, Laurel? You know, and
Absolutely.
this is, so you guys have a global network because I did a couple of webinars with you guys and there were people on that platform from all over the world.
Yeah, we have 122 countries currently represented throughout the center's platforms. Inside of this, we've got mentors ranging from Turkey, throughout Europe, throughout the Netherlands, throughout LATAM. Wherever you need to be connected, we'll help you get connected there. And we've got, business leaders and experts that really are leaning in across the globe. So yeah.
Amazing. All right, guys, so we have 9 minutes left. If you have any questions for Nicola and Laurel, please feel free to drop them in the chat. So I have this idea, and I'm just keen to get you guys' thoughts, Laurel and Nicola, while we wait for some of these questions to pop in. So yeah, clearly as mentees, like we need help. But as I think about the give first mentality that David and Brad, those guys talk about, I feel like, as entrepreneurs, we also have to remember that we have things that we can give to, because it's like you can't take out of the universe that which you don't put into it. And when you put yourself in a mindset of giving, even though you think you don't have a lot to give, you do have stuff to give. And you can just share people's content, like, comment, because you understand that juices the algorithm so their stuff can get amplified, right? So just give. And what I found as I've adopted this give first mentality from connecting with David and Brad, it changes the power dynamic. It really does. It puts you in a position where people want to help you more. Yeah. So I just think that's something to be mindful of just in general as we go about our days and our lives as entrepreneurs. We just, you might feel desperate and lonely and like you're, trying to figure it out. You don't know what to do, but you are, like, I promise you, you have things to contribute. You can give, you can support, empower, and help people. And as you do that, like, these other opportunities will come to you. And even when you're talking with these mentors, they'll see that in you and respect that about you. And that will make them want to help you more. And you'll get more out of those relationships.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, the center was founded on this whole concept of pay it forward. And when we opened the doors, we said, like, you can have everything that we have to give for free, but here's what we expect in return. You have to commit to supporting 2 other entrepreneurs who are struggling with issues like you're going through right now. You take it back to your community, you pull those people forward, you make sure it does, the lessons don't stop with one, right? Because everyone is going through similar experiences. The greatest indication that we found of like how we scaled as quickly as we did was being able to get near peers learning way more than front of house teachers. I mean, it is amazing to have experts that can support you, that have sold companies, that have done all of this stuff. But you want to know where the learning happens the most? When we bring somebody in 12 to 18 months ahead of the entrepreneur of where they're experiencing it. You talk about things that you remember just far enough out where you're not living in the minutia, but you're remembering the lessons that matter. It's about a 12 to 18 month sprint cycle ahead of the next person. So if we can connect entrepreneurs with one another who have had to go through a pivot, who have had to scale, who have had to hire that 3rd person, that 10th person, that 200th person, who have dealt with supply chain letting them down, who have dealt with pricing models that just don't seem to be sticking, who are struggling with marketing, who are struggling with all of these issues, that's the lessons that matter. Most of the time, we're actually seeing about 60% sign up on the platform right now, where people that sign up as mentors also sign up as mentees. So you're totally spot on here, James.
Wow.
It's about being able to say, I've got stuff and I still need to learn.
So that's a perfect segue to this question that Damon Brown asked. He said, is there room for mentorship as well? Some of us have experience to share as well. As a business coach and having my last startup acquired, I love to do both. Would love to hear the parameters.
Oh my God, that would be amazing, right, Laurel? Do you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, I believe, over 65% of our mentors are signed up as both mentors and mentees. So we definitely can use support on both sides. I know I go in and I use it for both. And we have a lot of testimonials of people that have done the same and are really able to use it in both ways to grow their own leadership skills and answer those questions that they're getting stuck around in their own organizations.
Yeah, I think that's great. So guys in the community, I will tomorrow morning, I'll post an article in the community with a link to sign up so everybody can see it. We've been dropping the link in here for you guys as well. So I know Flo just, and Flo, are you still here? Let me see if Flo's here. Hey, Flo, do you want to, you just said that you signed up. You want to just real quick talk about your experience so far with the Mentor Makers program? Or you were just saying that it's been a great experience so far? In the chat, just let me know. Do you want me to, you want to say something about that or not? Flow. No. All right. Anyway. All right. Cool. So if there are no, oh, she just said I just signed up with the mentor with the program today. All right. Perfect. She just said that. So perfect. So I know Flo's doing that. I know you said Laurel at Topaz is doing that. I don't see Topaz on
Yeah,
here today.
I have a session with tomorrow that I'm very much looking forward to. And I know Nicola's been able to meet as well. So
we've been, so I don't know if you saw, Nicola, that we are featuring Black mompreneurs this month. Did you see that?
I did. Awesome.
You know me, I'm always looking for a way to flip things on its head. Like Women's History Month, that's great, but let's celebrate some Black mompreneurs. I'm reaching out to like Good Morning America, all these platforms, because I want to really amplify and elevate the work that these women are doing in our community, because it matters so much. So yeah, that's it.
We were actually just bragging about that this morning with Jennifer Steeple Newsom's new charity that she started in California to promote mom and women entrepreneurs throughout California, and they want to connect with you. They want to learn more, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I know we got a bunch of people here from California. Madeline Beck, she's in here. Madeline just got her app called Fountful approved in the Apple Store, and it's a double-sided marketplace situation. You can explain it way better than I could, but she's focused in her early tech going with Southern California. But Madeline's in California. That'll be a good person for her to connect with from our community if she wants to get a flavor for what's going on.
That's amazing. Here. We're gonna send you the connection point. Will you do me a favor? Will you post it out, share it out? And they want to get people together, I think, as soon as, was it next week, Laurel, or the week after? Yeah, so it's coming up right here. So
yeah, so I know Laura said she's going to connect me with that woman, and I'm excited to meet her. So yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. If there's anything else you guys have that you want to add, if not, we can wrap this up. And there's anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up?
Well, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't say thank you for all of you doing amazing work, building great companies, inspiring great communities, and building legacy for your kids. So we are truly humbled to be partnering with James on a ton of initiatives. This is just the start of more good things to come. But you guys keep on hanging in there and keep being amazing.
Yes, keep bringing the smoke, baby. Let's go. So, all right, Laurel and Nicola, I appreciate your time. I know this is the end of the day for you all. And Laura, you got to go, Nicola, you got to go chase those rugrats.
I'm going to go chase those rugrats right now, James. There'll be a glass of wine in my future after bedtime.
Yes. What time do they go to bed?
It depends. We're hoping for an early-ish night tonight, maybe 8:30. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, Lord have mercy. God bless you. All right, you got this, girl. All right, everybody, thanks for showing up. I appreciate y'all. Look for an email from me tomorrow with a link to, how everybody can join and the community can join. And I appreciate you, Nicola and Laurel, and you've been a huge supporter and helping me get these webinars and educate your folks and helping us raise money to do some amazing work. And I just love you guys, and I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you so much, James, and all of Parentpreneur Foundation. We're so grateful for your support, and we'll see you all very soon.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
All right, you take care. Bye.
Bye.